Hello. It's a little bit dark, but it's a dark day today and I'm working with artificial light. I've updated my lens. I've been messing with a few settings. Oh, hello, Janelle. Hey. Hey. Okay. Hi, everyone. It's been a while. It's been a few things going on. Now, tell me if, like, I have to, this is, again, when I change configurations and move stuff around and all that sort of stuff, I'm deliberately moving my hands around as well because I'm just checking some stuff. Okay. But do tell me if the sound is horribly distorted or anything, but any other technical stuff, I will listen back and I've got to listen across different speakers and devices because I calibrate for headphones, but then I've got to listen to other things because sometimes there's these variances and it's all bullshit. Anyway, hello. Hi, Judith's here. Hello. Good to see you. I like your suggestion actually of games for seniors. I think that's a good idea. I'm assuming mobile games, but that's actually a really good idea for something I could talk about. I'm going to start doing more short content. Actually, before I do that, let's explain my absence. Okay, so not that I really need to, but but do let me know if the sound is particularly distorted or like anything like that, because that stuff I can't troubleshoot on like live. I can turn it down, but the rest I've got to listen back, but it'll be fixed for the next stream. So I got a new lens, obviously. I thought, okay, so I've always been grappling with lights, as you know. It's always come down to like not having a 1.4 lens. I know this is technical bullshit, but not having a good lens. I was relying on my phone and then it wasn't quite working and it just became a big distraction. So I've been working on, so finally, I just decided to invest, okay, because I was spending hundreds of dollars on lights and fixes and workarounds and everything, and also a lot of the CPU problems and memory problems and all of those things. And all of those things, just all these workarounds it was costing me more than just getting the fucking lens. And also making the camera do most of the heavy lifting stops the computer having to do the heavy lifting. So I can, it runs more smoothly. So it was just, sometimes, because the lens is expensive, it's, like this lens was about $600, which is, not it's a frivolous expense. I know lens people would go lol, like that's not an expensive lens, because some lenses could go up to like $15,000. But I'm just saying for a YouTube lens, it seems like an indulgence. I've always just kind of made it work, but for some reason, it was all just working around me using a kit lens. So anyway, for any video photography nerds, I should have gone with the 23. So I was between the 16 and the 23. I was sitting there going, fuck. Everyone was saying use the 16, use the 16, use the 16 mil. And then I was like, I was going to get the 23 millimeter Viltrox. I can talk about this. I will actually do, again, because I'm going to do more pre-recorded kind of content. But if you're interested, I can turn this into a short, but do go with the Viltrox 23 millimeter 1.4 lens. Versus I got the Sigma 16 mil 1.4. I know this is boring for others, but just, but I think in case you want to know, because a lot of people do like to know these things, go with the 23 mil, because the 16, I'm not kidding you. It is right now, it's about a foot from my face. Still a bit close. Okay. And so I had to pull it really close and the light really close. And so everything's quite tight. So when I stand up, I fucking knock the camera. I knock the thing, I have to whatever. So go with a 23. Okay, it's my advice. Anyway, I'm making it work. Should I run into millions of subscribers all of a sudden, I'll get the 23, but the 16 will do for now. The main thing was the f1.4 so I can get low light. This looks a bit shit because it's actually a very dark day at the moment. Normally you'd have more natural light, but I'm working through it and configuring all of the things. This stuff's very technical shit. Like it's just, the nature of my content that is technical and boring, and I spend so much more time tinkering with tech than I do writing, and that's been a big part of the problem, which was that I was sort of spinning my wheels a bit, which comes back to why I had a break. Okay. So I was going, the last video was a comedy diary where I decided that I was going to pursue comedy. Now, that has not changed per se, but I did. Sometimes, when someone says that you should do something, you've got to think about whether you're doing it to please them or whether you're doing it for yourself. And I love writing. I'm a writer. I love writing jokes. I'm good at, I'm good at the written word. Okay. Performance is not my strength, as you can no doubt see. Okay. It's not the thing that I like. I also don't like video editing. I'm not a big fan of the production side of things. I can do it. I can learn. It's not that I don't have the technical knowledge or anything like that. Okay. It's just that I went to a bunch of open mics. I wrote my act. It was fine. It all was fine. And I don't want to do it. I wasn't feeling it. I like writing a good joke. I like the process. I like the craft of writing jokes. Okay. So the performance is, I don't need to be the person on the stage. And it was really interesting because this is going to sound really bad. Okay. Now, I'm deliberately sort of inflecting my voice up and down as well, because obviously I'm doing a mic test as well, but we'll just talk about it. It's quite funny because I journal as part of this stuff. I journal every day. I have, like writer's journal. That's what you've got to do because you tease out thoughts and ideas that are sitting at the subconscious. You've got to do that process. And it was funny because there was this throwaway comment where I was reading it back and it was just kind of an epiphany. I do recommend journaling if you don't. Really do. Write stuff down because you may find that you just find a line or something like that accidentally that is quite, So anyway, when you decide to do stand-up, it can be quite exposing, right? Especially the performing and that sort of stuff. Like I've hidden behind a keyboard. I can do this, no problem. Like this is fine. But actually getting on a stage. But I realized what the difference was. Why I didn't want to do it. I like the idea. I love comedy. I like writing comedy. I even like performing it. I'm funny, right? There's no question about the fact that I'm funny. But I realized why. Like a lot of people, and there's, having met a lot of different comedians over the years, there's something in them, in their temperament, okay, where they need to win the approval of people, okay, like general people, like generally desperately need the approval of people, okay. And I don't have that. I don't desperately need to win the approval of people. I desperately need to win the approval of people I respect and look up to and who I think I need to win the respect of. And when you're doing open mics in particular, where you've got a general audience, there's something that switches off in me where it's like, I don't need you to laugh. Like most of my jokes, okay? Now, I'm not being arrogant. I'm just saying most of my jokes are not general audience jokes. They're quite niche. They are, quite, I'm not saying it's not highbrow, lowbrow, anything like that. So Val, it is, it's your YouTube setup. So, sorry, I will go back to that, but just to address that, lighting aside, the video does feel a lot more professional and not webcam. That's because I finally invested in the proper lens rather than the kit lens. Because I've had the Sony a6400 for ages. I bought that. What was I going to say? I had that for ages and I was making the kit lens, but I was just doing so many workarounds, so much crap around this kit lens because it can't deal with low light. Okay. So it's quite dark in here at the moment. I'm still working on I hate artificial light. I hate it when it looks like YouTube artificial light. Like you'll see that now. I hate the light in the eyes. I hate when people have the ring. I have these quirks and these things that I don't like. But the way that you light my face is from here. So I've got some technical issues of how to sort of set this up in a way that's lean, and I don't have fucking a million lights either. So it's kind of, like I've got layers and layers of diffusion cloth hanging behind. Anyway, I'm trying to make it work, so I've just got a setup that I can, it's just particularly dark at the moment because it's winter here and it's been raining for weeks, so it's just particularly dark. But I need to work on a way of brightening the room without throwing shadows, and that's just a fucking trial and error stuff. So I'll watch it back. It looks okay, and it's way better than it was, but I was using my phone before. But this is the difference between a phone and your professional lens. Get a professional lens. Get a 1.4 lens. And again, the f-stop is the most important thing, not necessarily the millimeters. What's that called? Can't fucking remember. Too many fucking. My brain's anyway. So my absence. So I was going to do comedy. I was doing stand up. I was going to the mics. I wasn't really worried about performing, right? But it's quite funny because, like I said, I realized it's like I don't respect the people at the open mic. I don't need their approval. Therefore, I don't feel the need to win their approval, and I don't care whether they laugh or not. And that can be a good thing, like for stand up. But then I realized it's like you start to do these calculations and you go, okay, well, I'm in Perth. If I was in New York or LA or somewhere like that, it'd be a bit different. First of all, the audience would be different. The whole scene would be different, that sort of thing. So it was more of a 50-50, 51-49 on any given day, whether I do it or not. In terms of actually pursuing stand up, okay. And it's like, do I want to invest my time getting good at something like that I might not like? Okay. So it was at the end of the day, it became about the lifestyle aspects of stand up, which was, I don't really drink. Have been lately because Paul's been off work, but I don't generally drink. I'm not a night owl. I'm a morning person. There's all these things being, you'd have to be, and if it does work out and that sort of stuff, I kind of got to be out a lot at night. Okay, yeah, so there is occasional room air. Yeah, so there will be that stuff. I'll fix that. I've got the headset. It's hard to calibrate your own voice while you're speaking. I did the best I can. The only way I can do it is watch it back across. We've got good speakers and headphones here. I just got to watch this back on a few different devices It'll be fine. It's probably the mids are a bit, the highs are a bit, I've just got to adjust it. So anyway, but yeah, so I started to just go, how much do I really want this? I've always wanted to do comedy. Like, I'm not going to change the fact that I write every day or I write jokes, but are there ways to do comedy and implement, like, do comedy without the lifestyle part? Because I don't want to be away from Paul. I don't want to be away from I don't want to be out at night. I don't want to be, it's just not really the kind of life I want. And everyone that I've met who does have that life, they're either, it's not a good one. It does something to you. It's like, I don't know. I think I'm too emotional. Dare I say I'm probably a bit too emotionally healthy to pursue it at this point. I think people sort of underestimate the lifestyle part. Also, being in Perth is just, it becomes they're on the side of no, and try to figure out a way to do it remotely. And yeah, so it's just, so it just became like a tipping thing. And then the week that I had done that and decided all of this stuff, Paul got offered a redundancy. Okay, well, not offered a redundancy. He was made redundant. Okay, you never offered a redundancy. It's but that gave him, obviously, because he had a little bit of a payout, so it gave us an opportunity. I just took an opportunity. He took a month off. He's obviously landed in a new job. Like, he's got the kind of skill set that, people just sweep him up quickly. But I've been sort of awash as well with all this AI stuff, with all of, this war that's going on in tech. All of the stuff that I said was, a problem has sort of come to a head. And it's all, with time, I've been proven right about a lot of stuff, wrong with some stuff, but right about a lot of stuff. And it's just been, I just took a moment to just pause, think about what I'm doing, spinning my wheels. I'm doing live streams that sort of, as much as people turn up and as much as people engage with things, it's not really something that I can pursue because it's not really, it's a money loser. Like, I spent more money on this than I make, right? Easily. It's like something that I do just to enjoy and have skills, but at the same time, I do enjoy it. But I've been sort of awash because I only live stream because, again, it takes days. You got to really want to edit the video. Do I want that lifestyle? Am I going to be editing video all the time? Do I want to do that? So I sat down and again, this is a luxury for a lot of people. We had the perks of having enough so Paul could take some time off and we could pay bills off. And, I own my car and I got a lens and a couple of other little bits and pieces. Nothing crazy, but, enough to sort of, make it, let me breathe for a minute. And the second that we were able to breathe, I went, what do I want to do? Like, obviously, I'm working towards being a tech lawyer. I'm about 18 months. If I leg it, I'm about a year away, but I'm probably going to take 2 years because I just want to do other things as well, right? So that's still ticking along. I'm still interested in that. I don't want, so I'm just a little bit of wash, a little bit of just going, okay, what do I do? Because, and content creators are going to we're all going through this with the AI stuff. How do you get seen? All the algorithms seem sort of rigged against you. They're rigged against me more than fucking anything. I get seen by anybody other than on LinkedIn, which is fine. I just tailor my content there. But what am I doing? What am I taking? This isn't working. I'm spinning my wheels. I've been spinning my wheels for a year. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. AI is, I can't really freelance because if I do, again, there's always work in freelance, right? I always get more work than I can handle when I say I'm available. But then I say I'm available. I've spent 3 years trying to tell people that I'm not available for design work anymore. So I can't exactly turn around and go, oh, okay, change my mind. It looks silly, right? So I just decided that what I'm going to do is keep going, doing what I'm doing, just level up the YouTube a bit, do more pre-recording, okay? Now, there is a very specific reason why I don't pre-record, okay, and upload. First of all, because it is a full-time job to do like video essay type work. Okay, so first up, there's that. So scripting, editing, storyboarding, recording, all of that sort of stuff. That's fine. I prepare for my streams, but I don't prepare for my streams as much as I would if I was actually doing a proper video. Okay. When I'm recording video, I get so self-conscious that I end up doing so many takes that it just becomes, I don't know, something, again, I was nervous on streams. Maybe it's just a matter of doing it more, which is my working hypothesis. I've just got to work, do more. And so I've been, writing a lot of stuff, mostly like training stuff, getting my brain out there, trying to get, I'm just trying to figure out which order I do stuff in, but I have been writing some AI stuff, AI courses, some digital strategy courses based on all of my stuff. Now, whether they're for sale or not, I'm not sure. I don't think that selling a course is necessarily something that you can do anymore. I think what you need to do is, I think really the only viable model for someone like me is pay what you can, pay it forward, and make everything free for everyone. And if you are, and just have faith that people who have the money and who value it will pay to keep me going so that others can access my information for free. So, but I got my website. Finally, I pushed the website. It's not fully there yet. The checkout's not there and that sort of stuff. I'm working on that. That's like the next bit. But I'm overall happy with the design of the website, which has been a blocker. Okay, now I've got all of these drafts to write and all that sort of stuff. Fun thing, I have a script. It's not a script, it's a plugin that pulls my YouTube streams, pulls the transcript and turns it into an article. Now, ChatGPT 4.0 has actually gotten, it's quite creepy when you get the prompt right, how good it is. So it's going to be funny. I will obviously label it what's AI and what's not, because, ethically and all that sort of stuff. But it's just, I think that you're going to have, I think there'll have to be some sort of schema or tag or something where you tag it as AI so that the AI knows to skip it. Because there's all these technical issues that AI is working out. But, again, I've got ethical issues with the way OpenAI run things, but, I'm still going to use the tool. I'm not going to, I'm not going to be one of those people that's like policing the use of AI. It's fucking cool and fun. It depends on what you do with it, like anything. It's not, you don't, it's just, I'm tired of black and white thinking in general. But what I'm going to do is just sort of zero in, focus a little bit more, do more writing. Obviously, I've got my newsletter, so go sign up to that, where I'm just going to be doing more writing, and I can infuse comedy into that. Okay, so the thing is, I can actually just be better, just combine the two. I don't have to do stand-up. Just drink out of dick. High-resolution dick bottle. Anyway. So yeah, that's sort of, I just took some time, because Paul was taking time off. He's actually setting up his own YouTube channel as well, but he's more around projects and building stuff. And, he bought some tools and set up his workshop and all that sort of stuff. So he's decided he's going to set up projects. He's always done woodworking and all that sort of stuff. So he's going to set that up, and we're just going to have some fun. And so I think I just needed a little bit of downtime, and also obviously I've got law school as well. And I've just the main thing has been, okay, so how do I make money out of this stuff? How do I figure out what's next in the meantime? Even when I'm a lawyer, I still don't think I want to work for other people. I'd like to work for myself. So it, or in some capacity, it may be in policy work, it may be in, but that takes a long time. So it takes a while, especially when you do part-time and you're my age. It's going to take a while to get there, but I'm just chipping away at that stuff. But in the meantime, I'm kind of available for, just general consults that don't take, don't cannibalize my other stuff, because that's the problem, I think, with freelance gigs and freelance work is that, or client work, is that clients expand to fill the space that they're in. And I can't afford to, I have to cap it. I have to set boundaries at 2 to 3 days a week maximum, because I have all these other commitments. I have law school, I have, writing and all of those other things. And so I can't really take on that's the problem with clients, is that they just expect you to be 24/7 for them. It's just how it is. It's the nature of the beast, I'm afraid. But yeah, so I'll just, figuring out that balance, and but I am available for the odd consult and stuff. But yeah, I'm just going to make my stuff free, and figure it out from there. But I'm going to do more hard. I have decided to focus more on tech and drill down, be more focused on what broke the internet and how to fix it, and the policy issues and legal issues, and just some of my thoughts and experience around that. Some sort of not really journalism, because I don't really consider myself a journalist. I consider that would be a demotion at this point. But it's God, what happened to journalism? Where it's like, if someone called you a journalist, you're actually offended. Anyway, but it's just so it'll be like a little bit like if you read like 404 Media or Tech Dirt or something like that. I'll just be trying to do a bit more work there, but it won't be news. It will just be sort of analysis, op-eds, making myself available for various things, and being a specialist in the area that I am, which was as a tech person who's like had enough and can't go back because it's just become evil, and training in just having to be a political scientist who was in tech and saw the writing on the wall, and no one listened, and everything went exactly as we expected it would. And so now we've got to dig ourselves out. So I'm going to talk a little bit next week about a few things, because it's been so much that's happened, right? The Adobe thing, the Adobe Creative Cloud thing, that's been a bit of a fucking thing. There's just so much that happens every day with tech. So much stuff. I'm just trying to figure out how I structure it, and but I am writing about it. I am writing stuff down every day. It's just what the streams and video content looks like moving forward, because it's mostly, I'm only doing it because I quite enjoy it and I like hanging out, not because I don't feel that it's like something that I can pursue and do, because it's tricky to. It's so, and again, this is another factor that I've sort of teased out of the whole thing, which is the internet, YouTube, whatever, etc. It's very dominated. And what I do, especially talking about tech and stuff, it's very US dominated, okay? And Americans, so let me think about it. So the thing about America is that the reason why Americans do this type of thing is because they can have some influence over their state of affairs. Okay, so using Israel as an example at the moment, there's not much that, because we are at the mercy of American government as much as American citizens are, but we don't get a say, we don't get a vote, we can't organise. There's not really a whole lot we can do other than put pressure on our governments to stop listening to America, which they're not going to do, because we're dependent on the US for security in this region, right? That's one of those things where, again, there's a whole back history there, but that's one of those things where if you want to talk about sort of these types of policy issues, product, all those things, every office that works outside of, say, Ireland and the United States doesn't really have any influence. We're just pilot offices for, the illusion of having like headquarters. Like obviously in tech, most people work out of like the US cities, wherever they're based, right? Depending on wherever they're based. But Americans, and this is the problem that we've got, love you Americans, but fuck me, they don't listen to anyone with an accent. when you speak about anything serious, every conversation is, so where's that accent? What about your accent? Say it. It's funny. It's funny. And it's like, no, I'm trying to say a serious thing here. I'm trying to make a serious point. And so one of the things that I find frustrating, I guess, for lack of a better word, is that Americans don't listen to anyone who's not American talking about issues of policy or those sorts of things. And you end up spending most of the time with them staring at you like this. Do the word again. That's something that I find very difficult. I thought about actually training my voice with 11 Labs and giving myself an American accent. I thought that would be funny. So, there's a few things. But again, I've got some ethical issues with the resource use of AI. So I do try to limit as much as possible. I do use the tools sometimes for transcriptions and things, because who the fuck wants to listen to me? Like, I don't even want to listen to me. I'm not going to, transcriptions, it's like, it's really good for that. But, but yeah, that is one of those things where I realize that there is a ceiling to what an Australian can do, say, produce, and have any real meaningful impact here, unless you're just going to go into a regulatory setting. And so when you write something, they don't hear your accent. When you write something, they don't, you're not Australian, you're not whatever. You are saying you're based on the power of your ideas. But on video and with content and appearing as a guest on things, they just don't listen to people with an accent. And I know that it's just as frustrating as it is, and I find it extremely annoying and ignorant and all of those things, but it is just a reality of doing these types of things that if I don't, the Australian audience is small, and for this type of content, and to do it, you need either the European or the American market, and nobody listens to people with an Australian accent. They think we're just goofy. So that's something that I've observed. I've had, I've been on things, I've had interactions. It's not because, obviously, there's other reasons. It's not the only reason. There's lots of things. But it's just one of those also, I fucking hate scripting and editing and stuff. It takes too long and it's boring, and I've got better things to do with my time than, without a producer, I can't, or editor or those sorts of things. You hit a ceiling about what you can achieve with video, but I'm still going to just create videos to support my existing content, and we'll see how we go there. Because I do like the format. I do enjoy doing this part. It's just, you kind of get it. I've been fucking 5 years now. This is my 5th year doing YouTube, believe it or not. Fucking hell. I never thought, and I haven't gotten anywhere. And that is partially because I don't do uploads, I don't SEO, I don't, there's lots of technical reasons why I don't. Some of it's been on purpose because I've been laying sort of, not really doing that because I don't, there's part of me that doesn't really want this stuff to be seen, part of me. The other part, they're in conflict. I'm always in conflict with myself, okay? Because, the thing about people seeing you is that you also then have to deal with fuckwits. And I wish that the one thing that I wish that we could do is figure out a way for people to just create content and deal with it and have an audience without it having to be conditional on putting up with abuse and harassment and all of the other, making your life hell. And I think that that's something that we have to navigate, and tech companies need to get better at, which is making, I don't want to have to deal with the bullshit. And I think that that's what it is, because I have, over the years I have, and it's like, oh, fuck it, who can be fucked? I don't want it enough. You have to want it a lot to put up with that kind of abuse, right? And I'm glad the people that are here, and it's really great. And I like having a small niche-ish audience. It makes me happy, right? So Val said pretending life is reality television might be one of our national pastimes. Yeah, and it is it's a cultural difference. See, as much as I say, Americans are stupid, Australians are just as fucking stupid, but mostly because we've been consuming the same bullshit reality. Like, take a look at some of the quality Australian programming that we've got. Where stupid is a stupid whatever. We got, a lot of very stupid people. It's just that there's not many of us, so we don't fuck everything up. For we're not the hegemon, and our idiots aren't in charge, and our idiots don't get to pull rank over the smart people in another country, which is the problem that I've got, which is people yelling at me loudly about my accent when they don't know shit. And it's like, okay, all right, okay. It gets tiring. It gets tiring. And that was kind of the thing with stand up too. And it does sound arrogant and it sounds like an attitude problem, but I think because as a kid, I had to self-validate and I had to build up my own self-efficacy, my own self-confidence and my own things over the years, because I didn't get external validation from parents. I didn't get validation from anybody. I had to build it myself. And so everyone around me had me believing that I was broken and wrong and all that stuff. And I think that I spent so many years building that up that I think that it's just become I filter out what people think of me as, it doesn't have any impact. That's why the bots are funny on X, and what some rando thinks of me doesn't affect me at all. It annoys me when someone I respect doesn't like me, or when someone whose opinion I care about is disappointed, then I'll listen. But it's, over the years, I've just had to shut that stuff out. And I don't give a shit what the average person thinks of me. And I think that that's the problem, is that we've catered the social media and stuff, all of this virality depends on the average person liking you and wanting their likes and approval. And I don't. I want enough to sustain like an audience and build my little tribe, and that's great. But I don't want the bullshit that goes with it. And I think and again, if you ask most creators, most of the shittest part of their job is dealing with comments and dealing with bullshit. And I just don't read YouTube comments anymore. Don't read my comments. I don't read fucking replies. I just turn everything off. And I don't like that, but it's necessary. And it's just necessary to do that. You can't survive on the internet anymore. Unless you are mentally unwell and mentally ill and have a masochistic thing that you haven't actually dealt with, where you enjoy getting abuse and you enjoy wasting your time. You don't value your own time, for a start. So you sit there arguing with everyone about stuff. It's like, how the fuck is me tweeting about Israel going to do any fucking anything? Okay? Everyone knows my position on that stuff. But what's the point? I've been sitting there watching people just going off. It's like, we're in Australia. I'm going to do a separate thing about this, I think. But I'm going to talk about like the history of this, which is that we can't do anything. They're doing as much as anyone can, which is to say, please stop it, or we'll send another harshly worded email. Please stop it, because unfortunately, policy is sort of, these are long-term things. These are complex, long-term issues that are consequences of decades of policy, okay? And it's like, fuck me, can people get, it's like, do we all have TikTok brain now, where the only thing that exists at any moment of any time is the thing that's right in front of your face in that moment? There is no past, present, future. It's just the content in front of you right now. And there's no past, present, future, context, facts, different opinions, different perspectives, and a different perspective might have the same conclusion. It doesn't mean that that they're on the side of genocide, for fuck's sake. It's like, stop being fucking stupid. But it's like, holy shit, how do we fix this brain brokenness? Brain brokenness. I love Murphy's Law there. It's like, it's a tricky problem. How do you get, like, people going, they're just parroting, like, oh, I can only vote for the ALP or the Liberals, and a vote for the Liberals is a vote for the Greens is a vote. It's like, no, it's not. Do you know why? Because we have preferential voting here. what you do, I'm going to do another educational video on that, which is basically, I mean, I know you can't fix every bit of stupid, but these are people who present themselves as commentators, and I expect a baseline level of knowledge. Like, someone fucking wrote about neoliberal, and they said neo-liberal. It's like, learn how to fucking spell the word before you start. Like, walk before you can run, fuckhead. Like, these people are positioned as commentators and experts on things, and they just pander to these idiots who just are consuming 30 seconds. What's in front of them right now? No past, no future, just right now. There is no data, no facts, nothing, no context, no history, no nuance, nothing. And they are just reacting like fucking hamsters on a fucking dopamine, on a wheel that, like, I'm mixing up my analogies here. A hamster licking the fucking dopamine ball, going, dopamine please, and then fucking on the wheel. And it's like, what are you fucking doing? You're not a commentator. You're a fucking dopamine addict and a troll. Like, I saw Sydney Watson, that fucking idiot. Speaking of Australian accents, Sydney Watson, who's this right-winger fuckwit, and she just asked, and I know it's engagement bait, but at the same time, she goes, what are the main compelling arguments for pornography being free speech? Everyone, what are the arguments? And I go, and I don't follow her, but she showed up, and I just went, I don't know. Why don't you read the judgment in the Supreme Court case? I thought you made money doing this. Maybe you should look it up. I thought you're a political commentator who knew stuff. Look up the judgment. Look up the landmark ruling and the ongoing precedent. Maybe a law textbook will tell you. And it's like, you fucking morons. And I know that it's engagement bait. I know that they're asking it. But it's like, these people make so much money saying stupid, dumb shit and asking dumb questions to hundreds of thousands of people. Hundreds of thousands of people are now less informed, more idiotic, and fucking more radicalized because these fuckwits won't pick up a book. There you go, I'm rant. But yeah, so cyber psychology indicates yes. So obviously there is a link between, we know all of that, right? And the link between personality psychology and temperament and all those sorts of things and online behaviors and all that stuff. That's been an area of research for me for many, many years. And yes, the court of public opinion, all of these things. These are all known. They're rhetorical. So, it's just frustrating because without rolling back on certain areas with speech on the internet, you know, there's or regulating particular. There is some room for electoral laws to kick in and disinformation and misinformation laws, but you do walk a very fine line with speech there, and there's going to be a lot. Well, there's a reason why I'm like studying the law, because it's probably the only area with growth industry is cyber law at the moment. Cyber law, digital law, tech law. And human rights law around these things, because they're going to be ongoing. It's just ongoing, constant. They're going to be testing all of these fundamental things at the superior courts. They're going to be decades and decades of fucking precedent setting and precedent setting and precedent setting for years and years and years to come. But, you know, you're going to be, it's a tricky problem. Because I just, I'll go on threads and they say, well, you can't talk about politics and get seen. I go, well, what if you're actually a qualified political scientist? What if you're qualified to talk about it? What if you're not talking about politics, but it's your bread and butter and you're an expert and you're actually de-radicalizing people, not radicalizing them? What if you're helping? What process I'll go and get licensed. I'll go and get registered. That's fine with me. I don't mind being registered. I've got degrees and stuff. I don't give a shit. I'll go and get registered. It's like there's got to be solutions for this, because you just see people getting worse and worse and worse, and the media plays a role here, but people are getting stupider and stupider and lazier and lazier and lazier and lazier. And again, not in all cases, but it breaks my head that, like, this is what the internet has become. Knowing that having access, again, I think because I'm like I'm an elder millennial now because Gen X are becoming like boomers and I don't want anything to do with them. So I'm an elder millennial now. I'm a cusper, but I'm in that generation where even though I was an early adopter, I was like really early. I was 14 when I got the internet in 1993 at school, through the media room. I had got it at home in 1997. That was, 96. So I was an early adopter of the early internet, but I still had a whole childhood without the internet and was a nerd. So I knew what, when I would use the library and microfiche and fucking encyclopedias and all that sort of stuff. And all I did was crave information. Like the internet represented something where I could just access so much of information and quickly without having to. And it's like people have I just cannot believe that people take a tweet on face value and that Twitter accounts for anything other than just a brain fart, and that people are taking this stuff seriously. I will never, ever recover from people thinking that is enough information. And again, these are not new problems. We've had this same problem with radio and TV news and sound bites and all that sort of stuff. It's not new. However, I'm just astonished how lazy people are. Just lazy. It's just willful. It's just laziness and just ignorance. And I don't even know how to even begin. And maybe my audience is just an audience who isn't that. But you can't make money with a tiny niche in Australia like that because those are fucking few and far between. Even the smart people in Australia are like, they don't know whatever. And I can't crack the American market or the European market because of my accent. And it sucks. And it's not just my accent. It is that it's twice as hard. Okay. And being a woman talking about man topics, it's a whole other fucking thing. But yeah, they're waiting for artificial people. Yeah, business. Yeah, that's all it is. It feels that. It just feels like they're just going to like hook into this Matrix thing. And it's just like, what the hell? What the fuck? Or are you saying that's a good thing? I think it's a terrible thing. Maybe it's just because I like writing and I'm a writer that I just go, and I'm more of an artist than a content person, that I go, well, content's crap. It's just consumable shit. Who gives a shit? Who cares? Content doesn't give, it's like junk food. It doesn't give you anything. And it's usually trying to sell you something. Like, no, art's like what it is to be human is art and lived experience and seeing stuff that others don't see and making connections others don't make and those sorts of things. Anyway, yeah, but I'm just amazed that people are so fucking lazy. They don't even know I can't believe that people don't know that we've got a preferential system here and that it's not a two-party system. It's like, well, you can vote Greens 1, Labor 2, cut out the rest. That's how preferences work. It's not ALP or Green. And, you can cut out the far right parties. I've talked about this before, but there's ways you can vote strategically. Stop talking about this fucking thing like it's a winner take all thing. It's not. I mean, I've got my issues with the Greens because a lot of the time that they split their ticket, they will quite happily feed the election to the far right parties in order to get seats for themselves, which that's their job and their job as a political party. However, when they're taking principled stances on things, then, you got to remember they will split their tickets and bring in a Liberal government if it gets them extra seats in the upper house, right? So it's... But again, this is just basic stuff. You should know by now. It's like these men who are like, I don't like the word mansplaining. I don't know. It's been around for a while. You've had about a decade to understand. I think at this point, you don't want to. I think at this point, you don't want to learn. And if you don't want to learn, then I can't teach you. So what the fuck do I do? Okay. And also anything I try to teach that actually makes money, like product. If you got on YouTube recently and tried to look up, like I've been into cactus and succulents and propagation of plants and stuff. And they're just littered with AI crap. It's just AI generated videos and crap now. That's just gamed the algorithm. It's like, well, you can't even do any real getting cut through on these types of things is really tricky. And again, we'll work through it. I think a lot of it is just, working through it, but it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. And also remember that YouTube has a conflict of interest because they're an AI company as well. So they've got to be broken up. They've got to there's so many different things that need to happen but for this to work. But anyway, that's been my, I've just been away thinking about where to go in the context of AI, in the context of, because I've got skills as a designer, but if I sell those skills, I don't want to do it for a start. Other than for myself. But if I do that, then that's a full-time job. Even if it's a small job, small jobs are still big jobs. It's just the nature of the industry. Clients have a hissy fit. I have the same conversation with clients about why they shouldn't put 15 fucking images on a slider or shouldn't have a slider at all that I was having in 2006. And I just broke. I just snapped. I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm sick of having the same conversations. Again, clients, they won't learn. They think they own you. And it's just like always trying to haggle over fees. And now they're doing the shit where they think they can replace you with ChatGPT. And it's like, fucking go nuts. Go on. Off you fuck. But if you want bespoke writing or comedy or, I'm going to start focusing on writing some more humor pieces and I'm just going to soldier on and write authentic stuff, lean into that, lean into like the Tayaness here and ride it out. Like I always have. I've just written it out. Okay. My X account's fucked. That's not coming back. I don't think it's coming back. It is. Guess what? I am so fucked on X. So invisible and mass reported on X that I don't get any bots at all in my mentions. I don't get bots. I don't get anything. Partially because I'm on, I think, a do not harass list because I report them, right? So the political troll farm accounts probably have me on a do not fucking, because I report, right? But it's also like my son is on X for, he's only got like 40 followers and he gets more views on his tweets than me. And I've got like nearly, I don't know how many I got, 6 something, whatever. And that's with Premium Plus. And I get like 100 views and he gets like 200 and he's got like 40 followers. That's how dead my account is. It's absolutely insane. I have like really cool people following me and none of them see me. They don't see me. And it's just amazing. I get messages going, you all right? Yeah. I just don't see it. And so it's so X is fucked. LinkedIn's good. I've just been a bit busy and I want to get my head straight and I want to clean up my account and do all of those things. And I've mostly been focused on just Paul having a break and spending time with him, figuring stuff out, deciding whether I wanted, really reflecting on whether I wanted to start going out at night and doing dumb shit. And I was like, that sounds a bit. And just also a couple of experiences with male comedians just cemented that view. Nothing's fixed there. It's it's gross, and I don't want to be part of that stuff. I'm too old for that shit, and I'll find ways to be funny differently, like through TikTok or through various things. But I'm working through that stuff. These things take time, and anyone who tells you that it doesn't is lying, and they are probably like a manufactured influencer like Brett Cooper, who's got like 5 staff members and a studio and a fucking unlimited ad budget. But if you actually to be truly organic, it is really difficult, especially if you've got confounders like the Australian accent, being a woman, talking about tech and politics. They're both very complex things. When I say politics, I mean politics, law, legal system, that area. Policy is probably the word for it. It's already boring for people. And also you've got jurisdictional differences. So even if I talked about Australian law and Australian regulation, It doesn't apply to America. But if I talk about American regulation and American law, I get these fucking things. Stop talking about American politics from both Australians and Americans. And I go, well, this is where the change happens. Yeah. I mean, I could talk about the EU because the EU has a larger market and a bit more influence, but it's like, okay, well, I'm happy to do all of those things, but it doesn't make money. And I think that's kind of the trick. That's the tricky part, is that it doesn't make money. And I'm just not going to be at the mercy of an algorithm, because the algorithm rewards being a fuckwit. And until the algorithm stops rewarding being a fuckwit, it's really not. So I just thought, okay, let's just figure out a way forward, how to be funny in a way that doesn't compete with AI, because there's no point writing real op-eds or anything like that. I mean, I can. I've actually been approached to write quite a few, and I've got a hump to get through. But yeah, so it's strange times. A lot of people have these problems. In varying ways. And I've just had the luxury of being able to take a month off and think about it. Thankfully, we're not going to buy a house, so we just caught up and invested in some stuff, and, so that's where we're at. There's quite a few people watching today. Hello. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry for monologuing here. I've been going for, how long have I been going for? 56. Fucking hell. Have I been talking for 50 fucking minutes? Oh my God. Anyway, I've got to fix this stuff. I think it's working well. I'm going to go. I'm going to watch some sound back, and then I will be, so you do see me, Judith. Okay. Are we in the same note? I get a lot of your tweets, actually. A lot of them are hidden behind sensitive content warnings. So I don't know what the hell you're sharing. But maybe we're in the same naughty pile, because I've noticed that you get a lot of sensitive content. I don't know, because I have it turned off, because I don't want to see. I'm sorry. I'm aware of what's going on. I don't need to see like dead babies in my timeline to know that unfortunately, I don't need to be persuaded that genocide is bad. I already know. So I don't need to be subjected to that. Again, not a masochist. I don't need to put up with that stuff to know that stuff is wrong and bad, and that Israel is doing the wrong thing. Okay. And anyway, but yeah, so, so that's about it. I'm just, I'm not dead. I'm fine. If anything, I've just been having a nice break and a bit of a reflection, focusing on writing. I have, my uni now has invigilated exams online now as part of it, which involves eyeball, that stuff that I talked about some time ago, where they use like Proctor something or other, and it does eyeball tracking and films your space and all that sort of stuff, and they check you. It's causing me a lot of anxiety. It's worth 50% of my mark. I don't do well when I'm sort of having eyeball tracking, because you'll notice that my eyeballs move a lot when I'm thinking. So I look suspicious, and I'm not suspicious. I am suspicious, but not for that reason. But it makes me a little bit nervous, because they've banned the use of AI, but now they're building AI into everything. So now I'm in such a state of anxiety about accidentally hitting a fucking button, because I've got things installed and, that I play with. And it's like, if they see the ChatGPT thing on my desktop, I'm just going to get a whole different computer. I'm just going to use my old iMac over here for my exams. That's the only option that I've got, and not put it, because it's like they're putting AI into everything, and then we're being accused of cheating if we touch AI. It's like, all of my law school notes are in Notion. Okay, this is what I have to do. I'm going to rant. All of my uni notes are organized in Notion. I use Notion for everything, okay, as my brain. I also have Notion AI. I use it to summarize and help and extract and, all that sort of information, just as part of all of my other notes that aren't uni. Okay. Now I can't isolate that stuff necessarily, because it's the same. It fucks up everything. And so for my exam, I have to physically print off every note that I've got. It's an open book exam. This is the stupidest fucking policy, okay? Which is that they banned Grammarly and they've banned grammar tools. So goodbye international students who need to look stuff up or paraphrase or are bad spellers or bad with grammar. They've banned those. Universities have no fuck. It's like, what the fuck? I'm thinking of changing. I'm thinking of actually going internal at UWA to avoid this stuff. So it's doing my head in. But I physically have to go to a print shop and print off all of my notes as a book, or actually I could probably save that as a PDF. But if there's even a little bit of an AI block or anything in anything, then it's like, but I use it like in my other notes to summarize articles and various other things, to tweak my memory and suggest keywords and suggest topics. I have one of the things in Notion AI that I use is I've got an AI field that takes an article that I've clipped and suggests potential op-ed like article, brainstorming ideas, just suggest the idea, and like it'll help me with a bit of outlining, or sometimes in line when I'm writing I'll get it to do a definition. It's a shortcut, right? And obviously I check stuff and I do, but nothing academic. I would never do that because it's not reliable for that. It's good as an inline search tool or a contextual, when you're writing and not wanting to lose focus or flow. AI helps because it will just generate. I've got some scripts and stuff that will just generate things that would ordinarily break flow for someone with AI. Not AI, someone with ADHD like me, it would break my flow. But now I physically have to print off my notes for my exam and have them in front of me on paper. It's like, what the fuck? It makes no sense. I'm actually thinking of changing universities over this issue because they have handled it so stupidly. And obviously, I understand that you can't be using AI and become a lawyer. Like, obviously, you've got to learn, I'm not worried about the material. The material's easy. But it's more I just get annoyed and distracted. And because I'm neurodiverse and all that sort of stuff, I get anxious when being filmed and that stuff. It's not an environment conducive to learning. It's because you end up just fucking worried about being caught for something that is being forced on us whether we want it or not. And it's like, it feels like we're being set up to fail here. So anyway, that's sort of what we're going through. But I've got invigilated exams in a couple of weeks. Thank you, Ryan. I hope you have a good... Oh, Canada, hello. The Canadians are here. The Snowbogans are in. Snowbogans is my favourite. Yes, thank you. You too. I will be back properly on LinkedIn doing stuff after... like this week, because Paul starts his new job next week, and he seems to have landed on his feet doing pretty much like similar work, so he's happy. And but then I'm pretty sure I know that women who have like fly in fly out husbands, or husbands who do shift work or whatever, his lack of routine affects my routine, and he's out of routine, and now I'm out of routine because my routine is around his. So he gets up, goes to work. I get up before him, go for a walk, do my thing, right. He wakes up, goes to work. I have these various points throughout the day. Then I work towards him coming home, and then I sort of do dinner, and I've got my little routines and all those sorts of things. He's home. And so he's doing stuff, and he's got his saw and his projects and all of his shit, and he's like, interruptions and all that stuff. I'm way out of whack. And also I started, it's NDEP. I don't know what the generic name for it is, but holy fuck, is it a good drug. I've had problems with sleep like my whole life. I've never been a good sleeper. And it's amitriptyline or something like that. NDEP is the brand name, and it's a tricyclic antidepressant. And I've never slept, and it's had not only a slightly better, like my mood's more stable. Like I'm already on mood stabilizers because of my ADHD and stuff like that. I take but this one really helps my sleep and my motivation and mood and everything is so much better. I'm worried about weight gain, but we'll just cross that bridge when we get to it. But I also, I just want to, I'm just trying to figure out like what people, because I'm going to put recipes, because I'm also a really good cook and I have recipes and I like doing cooking stuff and cooking videos, and I got a KitchenAid I'm 45 years old and I finally got a KitchenAid mixer, and I'm like, it is my pride and joy. And so I've been doing more dough and baking and pizza, and we got a pizza oven on Marketplace for like $50. It was the best $50 we ever spent. It was just like a one on Marketplace, and like homemade pizza is amazing. So I've just been going mad learning pizza dough and having some absolute disasters and stuff, and I really enjoy cooking. But again, it's like, can you have a political cooking channel? That would be fun. Where I've been wanting to do some stuff about how like this thing about there is nothing more socialist and feminist than learning to look after yourself and cook from scratch and look after and it's like this whole cooking and this TikTok thing where trad wives there's that trad wife pipeline that I'm very concerned about. And it's like there needs to be some counter messaging from women like me, or from, women with my politics, about how it's not conservative to be able to cook and clean and look after your family. And it's not to be able to cook for yourself and make bread. Like you can cook without the fascism. You can have babies and still be a feminist and a socialist. And if anything, owning your own labour and acquiring skills is a fundamental component of being a socialist. It's not being a lazy cunt. It's owning and controlling labour and putting something of value back to others and contributing and getting what you put in back out. That's what it is. That's the labour theory of value right there. Sort of, not really, sort of, but yeah. And so I think that I don't know whether that's my battle to do, because then you run the risk of diluting your message and content and people being confused because you're doing cooking, but you're also, so I need something that ties it together. And I do want to do some counter tradwife shit, because even if it's just a stream or two talking about tradwife content, because I do find it concerning and I find it incredibly misogynistic. And it's there's nothing. Nothing. It's again America brain where everything is political, and it's like not everything is political, and not everything is about your reality show politics either. You can just enjoy cooking for your husband because he is your life partner and be a feminist. Okay, I enjoy cooking. He likes doing tools and woodworks and all that sort of shit, and I enjoy baking, and we have an equal exchange of labour, and we're a partnership. It's not innately unfeminist to cook. Okay, and it's like, this is where we watched the South Park, the End of Obesity South Park episode. Could have been 30 minutes, but it was 50 minutes. And like, again, I've said this before, that obviously this extreme body positivity, eat what you want shit's coming from Unilever and corporate brands who are threatened by all of that sort of stuff. But then you've also obviously got a weird right-wing pipeline. Well, everything's a right-wing pipeline now, but you've got that weird through the health space. Like, I've seen it. Like, people start with a keto diet to lose 10 kilos or so, and then suddenly they're like, it's a big conspiracy to, and then they're anti-vax, and then they're fucking, it's insane. I've seen it happen. Repeatedly. I enjoy, Ryan, very good point, Ryan. Never a dull moment on this earth. You know what? as much as I don't like the crepe paper in my eyelids, look at that shit. Look at this. I don't like the crepe paper on my eyes, right? Because I'm 45. I like being wiser. I like that. I like sitting back. I love that. I mean, I've always been pretty difficult to shock anyway, but I like being hard to shock. I like the fact that there's not much that I can't marvel in. And I've been working on a piece about how Gen Z are fine, mostly. Millennials are not okay, and Gen X are not okay. Gen Z seem to be okay with tech for the most part. It's millennials and Gen X that are losing their fucking minds. They think they're deflecting and projecting it onto Gen Z. But again, I'm not going to extrapolate to a whole generation based on a few comments on anecdotal evidence. I'm saying that the evidence is a lot more mixed about Gen Z's relationship with the internet than you'd think. It's millennials that are fucked. They're completely melted. But anyway, I am going to go. I love you. I'm not dead. I'm fine. I'm just having a break, and I've just been a little dormant. This dormancy is good. We don't need to be on all the time and sharing all the time and always doing. But I will be back next week. I'm going to start scheduling ahead of time a little bit more, prepping a bit more, but also maybe uploading a little more. But again, I'm stretched thinly, so I'm going to stop promising and just do it. But I am going to try and work on a regular schedule, so at least people know when I'm around. Do let me know, especially if you're a patron. Become a patron if you want to, but if you're a patron and stuff, if you want me to talk about anything in particular, and also times, because I'm pretty flexible. I prefer mornings, my time. I turn into a pumpkin after about 5 p.m. I'm not really... I'm not really a good, I used to be a night owl, but I'm not really anymore. And also because family kicks in and, I like to spend time with my family and that sort of stuff. But I can be a little flexible and do one stream sort of that's more Europe friendly and one that's more America friendly. And that's the problem with being in Perth, is that you got to pick one. You can either be Europe friendly or America friendly. And when I say America, I mean North and South and Canada, those time zones friendly. So, I think most people do prefer to know in advance. So I do need to get into a schedule. It's just tricky because I'm in a time zone that I can't keep everyone happy. It's unfortunately, I'm 16 hours ahead of LA time zone, 15 I think during daylight saving. Usually if you're in America, I'm on the opposite end of the world time wise, so of Eastern time. So New York time, I'm 12 hours ahead. So so when it's like 8 a.m. here, it's 8 p.m. there. So if it goes in too late, then obviously if you're on the other side on the other coast, then it's 16 hours. But the UK is 8 hours behind us, or 7 during daylight saving. We don't have daylight saving. It's very, I have time blindness as it is. So, and also I'll figure out a schedule. If you're someone who's constantly missing my streams because of time, let me know, because I would prefer, if that's, again, like if you can make it within, 2 or 3 hours or whatever, then that's different. But obviously when I'm catering to one audience in America and Canada with the Snowbogans, okay, if I'm catering to you, I'm either up at 2 a.m., okay, or something like, either I'm up like really late in the evening, or the UK suffers. So I've just got to, I've got to figure that out. But do give me that feedback. And but obviously the more that, I know everyone's broke at the moment, cost of living and shit, but if you just happen to be doing well and you really do like my stuff, then pay, and it makes it free for everyone. At the moment, I can't really offer too many perks other than maybe more access or like, I don't know. I'm still figuring that out. A present, something, a merch. I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. I'm too small for it to be something that I can. It's the chicken and the egg problem, because I don't believe necessarily in paywalling content either. That said, I may need to paywall because of AI, but we'll see how we go. But I'm just saying, I have this problem. I prefer to do a pay what you can model, and the more that you've got, the more that you're willing to pay, you can subsidize and pay it forward for others. Okay, I like that approach. It's difficult to pull off, but I'm setting up a checkout where you can name your price and just you can do either a one-off or monthly or whatever. And I'm going to try and maybe put some sort of merch together, because I am a designer, so I can put some merch together easily. And I did have a merch store at one point, but I'm just thinking about ways that I can monetize that aren't necessarily at odds with my ethics. I think I can grow. If I can grow an audience, then I'm quite happy to just have it be ad supported, because and just take the hits as they may. If I'm talking about something that isn't ad supported, then don't count on that. But for the most part, I'm fairly friendly, other than my swearing and stuff. I'll figure it out. I'm just going to figure it out. I'm at that part. I'm at that spot where I don't have the ability to have organic reach, necessarily because of like algo fucking that I've had over the years. But I'm pretty honest about like the direction and the dilemmas that we've got, and I think people aren't really aware of like some of these tactical problems and these strategic problems, tactical problems, different things. But just that sort of I think a lot of people have experienced it to an extent, because a lot of people have left X and have gone to Threads and they've had to start over, and they have realized that they were sort of a beneficiary of a time that it is not like that anymore. So they're having to regrow an audience on a new platform, and it's not as easy as it used to be. Like I used to just be able to say you can't do that anymore. So we're all algo fucked in some way. Some more than others, to the point where I don't even get bots. But what I need to do is I want to make sure that I'm more targeted and focused in the way that I do stuff. So LinkedIn, I've been quiet because I actually do want to start having some quality content there. But also I have been developing my website, and the WordPress website. Go and sign up for the email newsletter. That's the place to get me. Okay. That's the place to find. Once I get it all set up, that'll be the place where you'll get notified of new posts and streams and all that sort of stuff eventually. Okay. At the moment, I'm a bit funny about sending emails because I get hurt feelings when people unsubscribe. I'm very fragile. But no, it's like I said, I care about what my subscribers think and stuff. I don't care about what the general public thinks. But then there's that. But what I've set up is, so what I'm setting up at the moment is so that when I post on my website, it posts to Medium, it posts to LinkedIn, and fucking Substack has to be copy and paste. But I am going to be wherever you are, but I've just got to set up the back end so that it's automated to do that. And that's been some of my focus has been focusing on those workflows and getting that going and automating that. And that takes a lot of configuration and work and design and thinking. And so I did the first push of my website quietly last week. I've got to do the checkout and all of that sort of stuff, all that flow soon. And I've also got to obviously write more. I like the last post was when I started the changes, because you got to freeze your content when you're doing the site. Yeah. So we'll get there. So anyway, we love you. I love you too, Judith. Thank you. That's very kind. But yeah, so we'll get there. I'm just trying to find, again, I think I overthink it mostly because I know, because I'm good at this stuff. This is what people come to me for, is problem solving with their, originally when I was consulting all the stuff, the thing that my value proposition was that I was the person that you came to when you were stuck with this shit. I found myself triple, quadruple stuck by the algorithm and all these things, and I'm trying to figure out the best way forward for myself, but some of those things are in conflict with each other. And so and a lot of it is dependent on resources. So I can, now that I've kind of paid off a bunch of debt that was hanging over us, I kind of get a fresh start so I can reinvest again a little bit back into things. But yeah, so, but we're getting there. We're getting there. And it's good to see everyone. Thank you. I will watch this back and check the sound. I hope it's not too unbearable. But I will be back. It's Wednesday today. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, so Val said, is it still overthinking where we established lazy brains exist? No, because a lot of people came to me when I was first working in digital. When I ran my agency, like the thing that people came to me for was because they'd hired someone who just uncritically gave them all this bad advice, and it was all a dog's breakfast, and their WordPress site was like had 100 conflicting plugins, and like that was our value proposition, was that we did it clean and lean and stuff, and that you can only be clean and lean with these strategies if you think about everything and every potential outcome up front, and that only comes from experience, right? So the reason why I do exist as a problem, and I've always had this problem of personal brand, which is that my personality and my authentic brand is in conflict with sometimes with the audience of lawyers and policy people who might think that I'm I'm trying to find that balance where I am taken seriously as a thinking person without being boring and dry. And that's always been a battle. And the problem is that in order to appeal to an audience, you see this. This is why the Rogan Bros and they make money being oversimplifying and overtly lying about things, but also just being overly simplistic, ignorant, and catering to people's lazy brains. Okay. And then obviously you've also got this need to be entertaining on the other hand, and those are in conflict with each other, and that's always been the case, right? This is why infotainment exists as a it's, like there's very few places that can do the Daily Show like and do what Jon Stewart does, but trying to get to some degree of that would be good. But again, that stuff takes prep, resources. It's very hard. Ask any comic how long it takes to come up with an hour, let alone enough jokes for an hour or two stream all of the time. It's very hard work. It's a lot of hard work. So you kind of, it's always trying to navigate that balance. And also, as I'm not somebody who's a performer. Like a lot of the political commentators you see, especially in the US, are actually just film grads. They're people who want to do production work to begin with. They're actors and media people and TV presenters. And like if you look at their actual training qualifications, they're usually recruited by agencies, or they are they're not really boffins as such. They don't really have degrees in the topics that they're talking about. They have journalism degrees or communications degrees or other things. So they're not necessarily subject matter experts either, even if they present themselves as such. Matt Binder, for example, is an actor. Okay. So that's just all. Yeah. So they're more performers. Right? I'm not really a performer. I find it fun. Okay, I enjoy hanging out and I like this stuff and it's fun, but it's not my talent. I'm not gifted at it. It's something that I work on and I'm sure is dog shit because I haven't. But, there's a few exceptions. Like Hassan Piker has a degree in politics and it shows. Right? He's like I share his he should go more into comedy because he's good at that. But there's a few streamers and stuff that are actually qualified in this stuff. But for the most part, they're media trained people. And I'm not media trained. I'm a socially awkward political scientist and tech person, a UX designer who 5 years ago tried to do YouTube and picked a fight and cried from stage fright and anxiety and wanted to puke. And when I don't stream for a while, I get awkward and anxious and stutter. And it's like, I'm not media trained at all. I've never had any. So, anyway, but so the biggest problem has been getting the camera to get out of the way so I can just be Taya. But I'm working on it. I'm working on the balance. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll just soldier. I just stay put. I can't control the environment around me. I can't control the algorithms. I can't control people. I can't control that people are going to be dickheads and stupid. I can't control AI. I'm one person. I focus on what I can control, and the things that I can control is being more consistent, writing every day, having, be focused on the things I'm supposed to be focused on, not just, and being more strategic in the way that I do things, and just showing up and having faith that people value what I've got to say. So I'm going to go for the third fucking time. Let's have a drink. It's my Stanley bottle. Like the power drill. Ford Fairlane. Because I love current references. Ford Fairlane. Good night, Judith. It's late for you, isn't it? Sleep. Yes, it is very late for you. Sleep well. I love you. Take care. And I will do I'm going to start doing a few more articles about written things as well. I might even make that a list on my website, but I'll figure that out. But I'll also make a little video about that too, because I think that is actually a very good idea, the game ideas for seniors, because I think that there's some really great games out there. Depends on whether you're willing to invest in a console. I don't think you are, because you're not even much of a TV person, but I'll have a look. I'll look into it for you. So thank you, Janelle, Ryan, Judith, Val. Well, I can remember who's here. And if you're watching the replay, thank you. And like, share, subscribe, all of that stupid shit. Okay. And why don't people like you, Tay? And donate to my Dick Bottle Fund if you want. The website currently only has the donate by PayPal and become a patron links, but I need to design that experience, and it's been a little bit of a pain in the ass. But eventually, when you are a patron, Substack not so much. Substack doesn't really integrate very well, but I fucking hate Substack. But if you're a patron, or you will be able to authenticate on my website, and it recognise you as a member of the website. So I've just got to set all of that stuff up, and I've just got to design that stuff, and it takes a long time. But because I do it all myself, I'm doing it myself. So yay me for my half-finished website that all I see is flaws. But go ahead, and I will go and subscribe to the newsletter. I will be posting once a week soon, and you'll also get notified of when I stream and stuff. I'll have different lists so you can opt out of all of the notifications, but I will be beefing up that newsletter soon. And I'll also make it so that it will. I'm hoping that I can integrate it into LinkedIn newsletter as well, because I've got a fairly decent sized audience on LinkedIn now. But I've got to look into it. And yeah, a lot of it, I've also been waiting on Meta's, because Meta's changed the API to incorporate threads, and also Blue Sky's API is opening up. So I've got to figure out the way. I can't post on all these platforms, and it's just impossible to keep up. So I'm just figuring it out. I do like the fact that Meta are making it so that you can cross-post from Instagram to threads and all of those things. I do like that integration, but I need to set up automations so that will occur every time, because it seems to be a bit buggy. But yeah, so I'm working on that in the background. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. I'm going. I got to piss. And yes, where the fuck did the button go? Where's my... There we go. It's there. Also, higher quality part of the reason it looks better is because the camera does the heavy lifting now. So the CPU isn't maxing out, which is great. And I can do it at 1080p, 60 FPS, and it seems to have not skipped a beat. So because the computer was doing a lot of heavy lifting before, and that was causing a lot of the problems. But now it's not doing that. The camera's doing most of the heavy lifting. So that's good. So get a lens. If you're going to start a YouTube channel, just get the fucking lens and you're going to buy an SLR, and just get the fucking light lens for the light. Don't fuck with lights. Oh, I should make a video about that. Just invest in that, because you spend more on the cheap solutions than you do on the solution that would work in the long run. Anyway, I love you. Take care. Thank you for your precious life seconds. Time to go. Fuck Elon Musk. Free Palestine. Peace. All that stuff. I love you. Bye. Yeah, actually, Val, that is one of the things. After hours stuff, yes. Eventually, yes. But you've got to get to a point. Yeah, I'm still figuring it out. I'll work on it. It'll evolve. I've also got a Discord. Don't forget that I've also got an active Discord. I have to promote that more. I did have one and it was active, and then I shut it down because I couldn't manage it, and I was like, oh fuck, it's too much, because I don't use IM a lot. I don't chat much. People will find I'm not really much of a chatter. They'll message me and I can't, because I get, again, lose flow. But yes, that is, I think after hours hangouts on Discord may be a thing, but that's another fucking app that I got to drive people to. I prefer Telegram. But no one's on Telegram. And then if I do it, then I've got to have Telegram and Discord, and then you got integrations. It's like, for fuck's sake. Why can't I just be one of those people that doesn't think about stuff? And then you got to think about privacy and data and being compliant and all that sort of stuff. And I worry about that stuff as well. A lot of people don't think about, with Substack particularly, they don't think about the fact that Substack doesn't have an API. And if Substack just bans you, or you lose access, or they just unilaterally decide to sell your words to an AI company, or they decide that they want a bigger cut, how do you migrate away? You don't. You can't just turn it off. Whereas with my stuff, I can just turn it off and go, well, I'm not on Substack anymore. Fuck Substack. Here, go over here, because I can move stuff. So that's always got to be a consideration. And unfortunately, because it is a consideration for me, everything takes 10 times longer to do, because I do it the right way. I don't do the shortcuts. That's why these apps are so popular, is because they're a shortcut. But it's also created a problem where everyone thinks that everyone should take the shortcut when it's not necessarily the best idea, best solution, right? And also I forgot, I am prioritizing User Story Hour podcast very soon. I am booking those in soon. I've just got to finish the website and the assets and stuff like that as well for that. So that is coming. But yeah, I took some time. I took some time off. I needed to just reset my brain. So anyway, I'm going to go. Bye. Fucking fuck off. Go away. No one likes you. You smell. Bye. Oh my God. Okay. Now we get to see how long it takes for the button, and whether the button works, because it works sometimes and doesn't work other times. But we'll get there. Let's figure it out. Figure it out together. 5 years of